Good morning to you. We will now take up parliamentary procedure. We have already seen the parliamentary form of government and other related things. Now we are coming to parliamentary terms and definitions. First is session. What is meant by session? Session of Lok Sabha is the period from the date of first sitting of the House to its prorogation or dissolution in the case of Lok Sabha. Because only Lok Sabha can be dissolved. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, though the members will be retiring once in 2 years, making their term as 6 years. So, Rajya Sabha, there is no question of dissolution, only Lok Sabha. So, what is session? Session of Lok Sabha is the period for the date of first sitting of the House to its prorogation. Prorogation is end of the session or dissolution in the case of Lok Sabha. During the session, the House meets every day to transact the business. The period from prorogation to reassembly to a new session is called recess. What is recess? From that period from prorogation to reassembly to a new session is called prorogation. So we have seen what is session and what is recess and what is prorogation. Prorogation is end of the session. Remember, the House can be summoned only by President of India. It can be prorogued by only President of India. After summoning, the House can be adjourned by the Speaker. After adjournment, the House can be reconvened by the Speaker. But the summoning, prorogation and dissolution, it is only by President of India. Then we are coming to the timing of Lok Sabha. What is the timing of Lok Sabha? Lok Sabha, it is 11 to 6 with lunch from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And Rajya Sabha, it is 11 to 5 with lunch from 1 to 2:30. So, lunch from 1 to 2:30 is for Rajya Sabha, 1 to 2 is for Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha sits from 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Rajya Sabha sits from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. How do you remember this? Why this short duration for Rajya Sabha? Remember, the moment Rajya Sabha is said, recall, it is a house of elders. It is a house of elders. So, elder people are there. So, naturally, they cannot sit for a long time. So, you have to appreciate that the session ends at 5 o'clock in the case of Rajya Sabha, 6 o'clock in the case of Lok Sabha. Here, the 1.5 hours the lunch time for Rajya Sabha. There, the 1 hour is the lunch time for Lok Sabha. So, you understood what is the timing of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now, as I told you, the power to summon Parliament is only with the President of India. The basic constitutional requirement is the interval between two sessions should not be more than 6 months. The interval between two sessions should not be more than 6 months. In our country, we have 3 sessions. One is budget session from February to May. Second is monsoon session from July, August. And then comes winter session, November, December. Remember, one is related to the subject transacted, budget. So, the importance of the budget. That is why the session itself is called budget session. The other two are related to the climate. One is monsoon session or autumn session and another is winter session. So, these are all the sittings of the session. Three sessions are there. The basic rule is the interval between two sessions should not be more than 6 months. This is the constitutional requirement. Okay. Then, remember, under the provisions of the Constitution, at the first session of Parliament of each general election, after each general election, the first session of Parliament of each general election to Lok Sabha, and thereafter at the commencement of first session of year, first session of the year, President will address the members of both the houses of Parliament assembled together and inform the Parliament the reasons of its summon. Remember, this is called joint session under Article 87. Here, both the houses of Parliament will be addressed by President. This is the speech from the throne. In British legacy, it is called speech from the throne. The President's speech will indicate what was the achievement last year, what is the goal for stipulated for the ensuing year. It is the government policy. It is the tabulation of government policy. Normally, President will speak only from the prepared speech, which is prepared by the cabinet, by the PMO. So he cannot deviate. He cannot deviate from the speech prepared. It is not possible. Because it is the government. It is the government. He is as good as a king of UK. So he cannot deviate from the prepared speech. Remember, this is the joint session under Article 87. It is not joint sitting, nor it is sitting of Lok Sabha, nor it is sitting of Rajya Sabha. Remember, it is a joint session under Article 77. You cannot call this as a joint sitting of Lok Sabha or sitting of Lok Sabha or sitting of Rajya Sabha. Okay. Another point you should remember is when President addresses both the houses of Parliament, he functions as a limb of Parliament. Now, kindly recall, it is very interesting topic in the sense, who presides over the joint session of Parliament? I told you, President addresses both the houses of Parliament and he speaks about what are the policy to be adopted in the ensuing year, what are the achievement of the government in the last year. This is under Article 87 of the Constitution. Now, when President addresses both the houses of Parliament, who presides over? Nobody. Remember, nobody. On the dais, there will be Vice President, there will be Speaker, but it is not presiding over by any of the dignitaries because President conducts the proceedings. President conducts the proceedings. So, for the time being, he is to conduct the proceedings of the House. It is neither Vice President nor what is known as Speaker can preside over. Even President cannot preside over the sitting because he is the limb of the Parliament. He takes the powers to conduct the business of the House. Most important. Remember, 87, joint session, addressed by President of India, who will outline the policy of the government for the future, who will also tell the members the achievement of the government. It is a prepared speech. He cannot deviate from the speech already prepared by the cabinet. This is Article 87, joint session. Don't confuse with joint sitting under Article 108 of the Constitution, which is convened by President of India to resolve the dispute between a Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha over a non-money, non-constitutional amendment bill. Remember, there is a provision under Article 108 of the Constitution to convene joint sitting. Remember, this is called joint sitting of both the houses of Parliament. What is the purpose? To resolve the dispute between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha over non-money and non-constitutional amendment bill. And who will preside over the joint sitting? Very interesting. Who will preside over? It will be presided over by Speaker. If Speaker is not there, Deputy Speaker. If Deputy Speaker is not there, don't say Chairman. It's Deputy Chairman. If Deputy Chairman is not there, such other member as may be determined by the joint sitting of the House. Remember, don't say Chairman, Rajya Sabha, because he is not a member of the House. So it will be presided over by the Speaker. If Speaker is not there, Deputy Speaker. If Deputy Speaker is not there, Deputy Chairman. If Deputy Chairman also not there, then such other member as may be determined by the members present in the joint sitting. Remember. Now, what is the quorum? 1/10. 1/10 of the total members of both the houses of Parliament. This is called Article 108 of the Constitution. That is, this is called joint sitting, and the other one is called what is known as joint session. Joint session, President actually comes. He addresses, whereas joint sitting, it is convened at the instance of the President, though he is doing it at the instance of the Cabinet. It is only Cabinet advises him and he convenes the joint sitting under Article 108 of the Constitution. Remember. Then, coming back to session, while it is mandatory for the President to address the joint session at the commencement of the first session every year, and also at the commencement of the first session of Parliament of each general election to Lok Sabha, this was not followed by 13th Lok Sabha. It was not followed by 13th Lok Sabha. There is one except, not many except 3 or 4 exceptions are there. The recent exception is 13th Lok Sabha did not follow this. Kindly note down, very important. That is, the 14th session of 13th Lok Sabha was adjourned sine die on 23rd December 2003. Remember, when it was sine die adjourned sine die means what is sine die? Without notifying any specific date, that is indefinitely. It is adjourned indefinitely on 23rd December 2003. That is 14th session of 13th Lok Sabha was adjourned sine die on 23rd December 2003. And however, the House was not prorogued. Remember, it was adjourned by the Speaker. Naturally, after adjournment, who can summon? The Speaker can summon. So it was not, when it prorogued, then it becomes a new session. Kindly remember. So it was not prorogued by the President. It was kept alive. And the second part of 14th session commenced on 29th January 2004. Remember, 29th January 2004. That means it is the first session of the 2004 year. So naturally, it should have been addressed by President. No, he did not. The second part of 14th session commenced on 29th January 2004 without the customary presidential address at the first sitting of Lok Sabha. Why? Because the session was in continuation of the earlier winter session. No, because I told you it was not prorogued. So naturally, it was in continuation of the earlier winter session. So the House actually dissolved. It was dissolved on 6th February, Rajbhai government, 6th February 2004. And the 14th Lok Sabha was constituted on 17th May 2004. And the President addressed the first session of 14th Lok Sabha, which met on 7th June 2004 after general elections. Thus, this is an exception to the basic rule in the recent past. Kindly remember, only academic interest. If there is a question, you have to remember this. Next, what do you mean by lame duck session? Lame duck session. LAMEDUCK session. What do you mean by lame duck session? Remember, very simple. The last session of the existing Lok Sabha, after the new Lok Sabha has been elected, that is the lame duck session. I tell you, very simple. The present Lok Sabha is there. Now there are two ways. One, the President can dissolve the Lok Sabha and conduct the election. Alternatively, the House will continue so that the members of the Parliament enjoy all the privileges. The elections will be held during the live period of the Lok Sabha, and after election, new Lok Sabha is constituted, then the old Lok Sabha will be dissolved. There are two. In the second case, when the new Lok Sabha is elected and the old Lok Sabha is not dissolved, then in that case, there will be a formal session of the old Lok Sabha. That is the last session of the existing Lok Sabha after the new Lok Sabha has been elected is called lame duck session. Remember, those members of existing Lok Sabha who could not get re-elected in the new Lok Sabha are called lame ducks. Are called lame ducks. That is, the members of existing Lok Sabha who could not get re-elected in the new Lok Sabha are called lame ducks. Remember. Then comes, what do you mean by quorum? Quorum is nothing but quorum is the minimum requirement of members to constitute a sitting. Normally, it is 1/10 of the total number of members of the house. If at any time during the sitting, if there is no quorum, then it is the duty of the presiding officer to adjourn the sitting. Normally, speaker presumes. Speaker is not a headmaster. So naturally it is presumed. Speaker presumes quorum in the sitting till his or her attention is drawn to the lack of quorum. Whereupon the quorum bell will be rung, and the members of parliament, members of the house, wherever they are, they should rush to the house. So this is called quorum. So we have seen, very important, what is session, what is prorogation, what is recess, what is the exception made in the calling the session, and what is the difference between joint session, what is the difference between joint session and joint sitting, and who presides over joint sitting, who presides over joint session, and what is the exception in the first session, the presidential address, who prepares the presidential address, whether he is bound by the presidential address. All these things we have seen in the class. We will continue with the parliamentary procedure in the next class. Thank you very much.